What's going on, family? It's Bashari Jones.
And I'm Kiana.
And welcome to KUWJ Live Lovecast, Keeping Up the Joneses, where we are here to empower.
Yes, we are.
We are here to inspire.
Yes.
We are here to educate.
To educate.
We are here to entertain.
And to entertain.
And celebrate.
Yes.
Couples from all over the world, from all walks of life, from all different backgrounds, so that we can inspire others to stay together, find love, preserve that love. Okay, and today is a special episode, something that we've never done before. Today we're actually going to do a singles Q&A.
Yes.
Okay, but right now we got to give a shout out to our friends that are sitting with us.
Yes.
You want to congratulate them on their first year of marriage.
Woo!
You guys seen them before on the podcast. They were then Robin and Nikki J. Okay. But today they're officially Robin and Nikki Jones.
Yes.
Right? All right. So, the Joneses is rolling deep down here in Houston. And today we want to welcome our special guest.
This is Jones headquarters, by the way.
Jones headquarters. Okay.
Jones.
So we want to welcome our special guests on today, who are single.
Yes.
Who are coming to give us a singles perspective, because the Joneses, we've been out of the game for a long time.
Yes.
Right. We've been married 18 years.
Yes.
And so we've been out of the game. We don't know what the dating game is like. We have no clue. Right. We don't know what it's like today. So first we want to welcome our sister, who hails out of Detroit, Michigan.
Ooh.
A lot of us know her as the crypto queen.
Yes.
She's here to join us to give us her perspective, a very intelligent young lady.
Yes.
She's a Virgo too, right?
Yes, she is.
What's your birthday? August 24th. Mine the 28th. Ooh, close.
Very close. Super close.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So we want to welcome our sister Chrissy Pips in the building.
All right, y'all.
And then next is this is my brother, like this guy right here. This is our brother.
Yes.
Right. This guy right here, when you guys see us on a dance floor, he's responsible for that.
Yes, he is.
Okay. He's responsible for us on the dance floor. When I'm twisting and turning my wife all around, this is the brother who's responsible for that.
He taught us 18 years ago.
18 years ago. Actually, like 17 years ago. It was before the marriage. Right. I mean, 19 years ago. So it was actually before the marriage, before we got married. He was the DJ.
Yes, he was.
At our wedding.
Last minute DJ. And the best DJ ever.
Became the family DJ.
Yes.
So he DJ'd all the birthday parties. Yes. Everybody's like, call your boy. Okay. So this brother has been there for us. He's been in our corner for 18 years of marriage, the ups and the downs. When people know we were separated. When we were separated, I lived in his extra bedroom. Okay. So we just want to give a warm welcome to our brother, Mr. Randall, the General Piner, in the building.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
Yes.
All right. So we want to do is first off,
wait a minute. Don't nobody care about my birthday? I'm a Sagittarius, in case y'all want.
Sagittarius in the building,
I feel like Chrissy bio was already in there, and didn't nobody get mine.
Yes, let's get yours in too.
Right. And for those of you who don't know, Randall the General is the real estate man.
Yes, yes, he is.
He's doing this thing in the real estate market out in Michigan. Doing this thing.
Yes.
So for those of you who have your real estate needs, that's the brother that you want to talk to.
Absolutely.
All righty. So today's discussion is we're going to do a Q&A, and we're going to Q&A both ways. We're not going to just Q&A one way. We're going to Q&A both ways because, a lot of people may want to know, how did the Joneses work it out for 18 years, right? What was some of the secrets, like real life situations, because sometimes we can give general information, but everything don't work for every marriage. I could tell you, we got our 3 books. We got, the 5 love languages. We got We got Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And then we have the 4 Agreements. Those are 3 books that we use as a foundation for our marriage to help us get through real life stuff. But then it's like, okay, well, what does the real life stuff look like? Because we don't always go into details because we do a lot of stuff, right? We live every single day, you know, so we do a lot of stuff. So sometimes it's like questions. And those of you who are on Facebook watching us, let me pull up my phone. Those of you who are on Facebook watching us, just, you know, put a couple questions in there if you want to, and then, you know, we'll take a look. I'm pretty sure Chrissy Pitts will be on top of it. Like, yeah, such and such act, such thing, because she's on top of everything. Everything. But so put some questions down there, you know, for those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you know, and we'll do our best to answer. So that's what we're here for, right? So, how you guys want to start? You guys want to start asking us questions? Because we're gonna ask you some single questions because we don't know. We don't know what it's like in the dating world today.
Well, being that I heard some plotting on questioning before we got started, I say let's just get into it. Come on with your questions, because I feel like you guys got some good questions. That's a good way to get started. So I'm ready.
He ready.
He wants you to aim at him, baby. He wants you to shoot.
No, wait, I didn't say that.
So basically, he volunteered my time. Cool.
So y'all shooting us first, or we shooting?
So I got one for you. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And this is for either couple. Okay. Because I'm
That's
just
why we're
curious
here.
to know. So, what are some of the most memorable moments or milestones that you shared together as a couple?
That's a good question.
Wow.
Y'all know y'all invited me. She went deep with it.
Right.
Wow.
Who want to tackle this one first? I mean, so I got a bunch of them.
Y'all veterans. So, you know, y'all got a lot more memories and milestones than we do. We just had ours, so ours is like easy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I would say the very first milestone was, for me, that I can remember when I really think back, was our wedding day. Like, that was a beautiful day for me, you know, as a man, as a husband, becoming a husband. It was a great day seeing our family there, seeing the work that was put into, because there was a lot of work put into our wedding. Like we had a nice, you know, big wedding, and it was, you know, beautiful ambiance, and you know, we were at the Armenian Congregational Church in Southfield, and my wife aunt was like, "Are y'all Armenian? What are y'all doing at that church for?"
She did.
But no, that day was a great day. Like, when I think about it, like, I actually still go back and watch the videos, and I actually still go back and look at the pictures of our wedding day. You know, because it was just a really good day. My wife was looking extremely gorgeous that day, and then all of our friends, all of our family was there. You know, so that was a really good day that's a really good day to remember, to reflect on.
Wow.
You got points today.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, fellas, take notes.
That's sweet.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was sweet. We do have a lot of milestones. We have milestones from working together. I think that would have been probably the next big milestone we had.
A nice big milestone.
When we hit a nice rank working together in a company.
We were doing a prepaid legal. We was doing the legal thing, the pre-legal thing. Y'all doing that pre-legal thing. That's how everybody used to say it. But yeah, we were in prepaid legal, and after 13 months of joining that business, we were able to hit executive director.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of money, but not just the money, but it was just the experience, you know, traveling.
And it introduced personal development into our lives. I really believe that's definitely one of the main reasons we're still married today. You know, we got started into personal development very early in our marriage, you know. So yeah.
Yeah. And then another one I would say is a great milestone would be when we dropped our daughter off at college.
I agree.
You know, what's a great milestone.
I want to back up because my son graduated first. That was a milestone. My son walking across that stage.
Yeah.
Getting his diploma, and
that
then
was a fight.
Yeah, y'all don't even know. But yeah, that was a huge milestone for me. I'm sure for both of us. But you know, sending Tiana off to college was definitely another one of our milestones for sure.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and we can have plenty more, but we're gonna go ahead and, you know, open the floor up, you know.
For me, your first anniversary, when you travel that road in between getting married and to actually staying married and learning each other and learning, you know, cohabiting each other's habits and really trying to figure out, you know, who is this person? Like, even before you get married, it's a totally different thing than when you get married. Like, you can live together as girlfriend and boyfriend.
I tell people all the time.
And then you get married, it's like, what?
It's not the same. Change? It's not the same. I tell people all the time.
So yeah, just meshing all that together, your families just coming together, getting to know each other. You know, they can't get rid of each other no more. And then you got that first year, you come around like, dang, that went quick.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a big milestone to celebrate. Yeah. And so
that's what's up.
What about you?
I think us just working together as partnership. So that's something that I never had previously in my relationships. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, even though I did work in corporate America. And for me to come out of corporate America and completely just becoming an entrepreneur and just bringing this crazy life into somebody that, you know, they used to just sitting at a desk so I can work at home. It's totally different. And so just kind of just me having my world and then him coming in and we just making it one and just loving how we work together and also ministry. A lot of my work is ministry, and that's something that I was really big on with dating anybody. My ministry is first, and that's something that we both do together. So I really do like that.
Aww. Aren't they the cutest? Are they not the just cutest couple?
Making me blush.
Adorable. I mean, you guys, I was so obsessed when they were dating. Oh my God. It was just like a storybook romance. I would be scrolling. Oh my God. Oh wow. Babe, did you see? I'm so not exaggerating. Like, I was a fan, okay?
We got that other Facebook too. We see them valleys. We all go through it.
Yes.
Make sure you iron sharpen iron, and when you learn each other completely and you're one, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. I love it. Nice. Sorry, Chrissy. We kind of took it and ran with it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody, what you got? You got anything? The general?
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Let's do a little compare and contrast. Would you say that it's easier for you to merge your lives and begin this journey, say 18 years ago, or further along in your life when you're more established and then trying to merge that? Like, how do you think that plays? Like, what do you think would have been easier?
That's a very good question.
That is a very good question.
Oh.
So for you want to answer first?
I would love for you to go first.
So like for me, I would say my answer would be I really don't know, because it's so relative, because
that's a Bashari answer.
The reason being is because when I look back, it has been a journey, for us merging our lives together and building. We didn't have a whole lot established at that time.
Absolutely.
And we've been kind of working and establishing together.
Absolutely. I agree.
Me personally, I don't know the type of person I would be as established and then bringing a woman into my establishment. I might be a little bit more leery or a little bit more judgmental. So I don't know what type of mindset I would have as a single man, more established, and how on guard I would be, versus knowing that this woman helped me establish everything from ground floor. So I know that she was in it with me when we didn't have nothing. You know what I'm saying? Versus her coming on. I'm not saying that it wouldn't have worked. It probably would have worked out great, so I probably would have had a lot more questions, to ask than what I did before. Because back then I was in love, and but now it'll probably been like, okay, what your credit score is, and what your bank account look like, or what are your work ethics? I might ask those questions. Saying now, like if I wasn't married right now, I would be asking those questions 18 years later. Like, what your credit score look like? What your bank account look like? What your work ethic, what do you see yourself, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? I'm having those questions, where then we kind of learned together.
We did
to ask those questions, so true. It's like I think it would be, relative. That would be my answer. Like, I really don't know.
Okay,
that's a fair answer.
Joneses being more recent, like,
so
how does that look?
That's a good question, because I think balance and boundaries plays a lot. Like, I am a huge big energy alpha female, right? So coming in, and I had a lot of stuff already established, and then Robin coming in, dating an entrepreneur. I love the fact that he was an entrepreneur too, because I was like, good, we don't have to worry about calling in to work, because you playing with me, you would not go to work, you ain't gonna have no job. But I knew that I had a bigger plate than Robin, because Robin came in. Robin's a realtor, and he did a lot of Airbnb. So with me, I'm like, I love unorganized chaos. So the difference, the balance that he brings in is, so I'll school back a little bit. Me being established, and then him coming in, and he was still an entrepreneur, but having a serial entrepreneur with multiple business, it's like, oh, I don't want you, we had to determine, okay, mine's yours, and now it's ours. So before, we was just dating, it was like, okay, you got your stuff, I got my stuff, you ain't got to come over here, I ain't going over there, right? And so then we got married, he was like, now everything is ours, so everything, we became one. But the balance is, for us, even though the plate was full, he still accommodated, and he still came in and made things a whole lot easier. With me, I'm just like, let me just go pay for stuff. I ain't worried about no credit. Robin is totally different. Like, Robin, the credit, if he would have been like, what's your credit score? We probably would not be dating, okay?
That's how I understood the question. The question I understood is, if you knew what you know now, would you do it?
So I wasn't.
That's the question I heard.
I wasn't one of those people.
Would you do the same thing? Would you have the same yes as you would now? If you
I think we would, because we work good together. So like, but he had to get me to that point, because before I was like, I didn't care about no credit. And now he's just like, okay, he checking the credit every day. That was not my thing. So now we brought that balance in, and I was able to put that wall down and say, you know what, regardless of what I had before, regardless of what you had before, it's just one now. So we're a team, so it doesn't matter. And then we just building, because we're not where we want to be. I mean, we're good, but where we want to be, that's something that we're going to build together.
All right, period.
Okay,
what? That's what's up. That's what's so y'all feel your relationship is flowing a little better meeting later in life? Is that what you think? It would flow this easy or this well if y'all were younger when y'all got together?
If we were younger, I know me and this woman would be together. Bottom line, who I was and who she was,
no.
It'd have been a couple hours and we both would have been gone. Yeah, but maturity is the measuring stick to everything. So,
yeah,
I agree.
She's more mature than me still. But I'm coming into my own.
And prior to that, I was like, I just want to be single. I didn't want to get married again. I wanted to be single, because I just felt like it was my thing. And then
that's the thing with single, especially with men's perspective. I can't understand how a man would want to be alone.
So there you go. Let's ask the single. That's a perfect opportunity for a question.
So boom, let's hit that question. I got the question for you, General. Is it a preference that you're alone, or is it just that you haven't found the right partner?
Well, So let's have a transparent moment here.
All right.
All right. So up until I would say probably 6 years ago, I would say previous to that, on paper, I was a good partner, but not really, because there were things that I had to take care of within myself. So, there was counseling, there was therapy, things that I had to work through, unresolved things that made me a bad partner. Like on paper, car, crib, job, like I look excellent. But the reality of being with me as a person was never going to make that next level just because I had
Wow.
so many things that I had to take care of for myself. So there was a point where I realized I don't really like me.
Wow.
So if I don't like me, I don't trust you because you said you like me, and there's no way.
Gotcha.
So until we got past that, like now I'm in a different situation, different headspace. My life has taken a drastic change, and now I'm, eligible for
There you
Okay.
that
go.
opportunity.
Period.
I'm eligible.
All right, for those ladies who out there watching,
He's eligible.
he's eligible.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's
Have
a
to be
quote that's floating around that I like. It's a clip from some show that was on. It's like you got to know the difference between who's interested and who's eligible. Because if you're interested, there's a whole lot of people that are interested. It's just like a job. Like you can come in and apply, but are you really qualified for the job?
Right.
And my resume, it said that I could, but in reality, I really could not do the job.
I wasn't eligible when I met her.
Oh,
I
wow.
faked it until I made it.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, I sure enough wasn't eligible or qualified. Not on paper, definitely not on paper. Maybe in the heart. In the heart. I was qualified in the heart.
And that's the difference between 18 years ago. I guess
Exactly.
that's all you needed.
Exactly.
That was good.
Chrissy
Pips.
Miss Pips, you get the same question.
I'm going to say single by choice, right? Because I thought I was in a situation that could grow, but the other person was similar to Randall's situation where they didn't feel like they were where they needed to be. And in my mind, I'm like, well, then we can grow together, because if I'm willing to put up with and deal with and work through the version of you that you are now, I think that I should be able to kind of, when you come home and you got 10%, I bring in a 90, or we both just meet at 10 at the table and say, listen, today I just want naps, and because I am that type of person, I am single by choice, because through that situation, I learned that there are certain things that I appreciate early. Like I appreciate open honesty early and in the beginning. And I'm not a person that believes that relationships are 50-50, because if you only bringing 50% of yourself to the table, that's not enough for me, right? Because I'm bringing 100%. Or on the days I don't have it, I'm telling you, listen, babe, I only got 10%. I'm about to go take a shower, and I don't know after that. Like my priority is to drink your water, right? So single by choice, because I am like, I'm not going to say skeptical of people, but so many people are too afraid to be who they are in the beginning. They fake this funk and then it wears off. Like, keep that same energy, because I'm the same person today that I'm going to be in 2 years, right? As far as the habits and things that I have for what I do in a relationship. Those things aren't things that change. Like, I like to cook. You going to come home and it's going to be food cooked, or it's going to be food bought, or we going to work it out. It's like, there's going to be food. Like, that's me, right? And I'm a night owl, right? Like, these are things that it's not going to change. So I think sometimes I've got myself into situations where I'm too honest up front and people can't handle that.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. Like, that's okay for me.
Absolutely.
They sound similar, don't they? Mm-hmm. That's that Virgo energy.
Because I'll tell you, if say for instance, you talk about the honesty up front, and they'll put on that mask, and it doesn't last long. Right. So we come out honest. Then they're gonna know at some point, I ain't gonna be, it's gonna be too much. They're gonna already read you, and they're gonna already feel like you're too much for them. So then that's gonna automatically, that's either gonna be a turnoff or a deal breaker for them, because it's like, no, you can't maneuver, you're not gonna be able to finesse me on this one. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. That's up. So I do have a question. Because like I said, we've been out of the dating game a long time, and we were separated for a little while, and I tried, and it was like, nope, I'm straight, and so what? Now, so we met from a wrong number. You guys know our story. We met from a wrong number. So it wasn't necessarily like I was actually out looking for her. She was out looking for me. She wasn't even really trying to date at the time. She was pregnant. I had a girlfriend that was at that time, she was a little cuckoo at that time. And I was a little cuckoo at that time, so it was just like, I'm coming home drunk from a cabaret, calling somebody, called the wrong number. She picked up the phone, and it happened. So it wasn't like we went out and tried today.
Look, 18 years later.
Yeah, so it's not like we actually went out and tried to date each other. Or I didn't pursue her, didn't see her at McDonald's or driving down the street like it usually happens. So my question is, being in a dating scene, or being able to date, because you may not even be in a dating scene, but being able to date, or having been on dates in the past, whether it's a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever length of time you've been on a date, what is it like with other people? Because in the short time, it was some crazy women. Like, they were crazy, like cuckoo, like really like crazy. I'm like, I'm straight, like I'm good, like I'm going back home, like this is crazy. So I don't know if that's what it is in Detroit, but how is it like, it's like, what are the pickings like? What is the the fish like? Like what is it like dating?
What's the dating pool looking like?
Yeah, like what is it looking like?
Other than PP, because that's all I've been hearing.
What's that?
PP in the dating pool.
Like what the what do the options? So you already pay, what do the options look like?
Pissy out there. That's what I told the other day. We was at Papa Seafood, and we was talking back and forth. We was having a conversation, and it's just like the bar was lined up with all these people that was like just meeting these people. You could always tell when somebody's hooking up somebody, because you're over talkative. You laugh all out of control for nothing. And it's just like, all these people is out here trying to find somebody. And do they really know what they're looking for? Because I could tell, like, and half of them wasn't matched right. It was just like, that dude don't really like that girl. That girl don't really like that dude. But
he was trying hard though.
And there's a lot of same, like, there's a lot of women on women, like a lot of women looking for women.
Yes, I mean,
crazy.
That's today's world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the
Can't go my mouth.
what does it look like?
She don't know, huh? She be in the house trading crypto all day.
Listen, like, I'm so behind this computer. Like, I'm so behind this computer. And I've met people at events and things like that. And I've met people who are interesting, right? But I don't know. Like, I'm skeptical right now. Like, I'd rather go on vacation and meet somebody and see how it go, because I'm not going to say I would never date anybody from my hometown, but I'm not going outside. Like,
she says she's swiping left, swiping right.
Because I've definitely, like, I talk to people at the gym, like, y'all know I'm friendly. I'm a conversation person. I can hold a conversation with a stranger at the grocery store. I do it all the time. But then it's not an exchange of numbers. It's like, oh, you were cool for 5 minutes. Like, so I don't know. Like I've dated people from the world that I'm in, being inside of crypto and stuff like that. But it's like I'm fearful outside of there, you know, like, because getting to know a new person, their personality, and like, it's hard for, like I was saying earlier, it's hard for people to be for real. I need to know if I'm going to be able to deal with you past the things that I don't like about you, right? Like, that's important to me. Like, the thing that you do that annoys me, I need to know, like, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's cute, it's just him, you know? And people are scared. People are so scared to be themselves that it's like, you don't see none of that till it's like, oh, you got my house key? Right? Like, I need that bag, you know? So yeah, I don't know what the dating pool look like. I heard the same thing y'all heard. It's a septic tank out there. I don't know.
And Randall, what about
I would
you?
say at this stage, being over 40, we are definitely shopping the damaged in return. Let's be clear about that. And we are all buying secondhand merchandise. It's just a matter if it's a good fit. There are a lot of people who are unhealed. There are a lot of folks who have ulterior motives. So what I find is important at this stage is you really have to be intentional about your vetting process, like, and what that looks like. And it needs to be beyond just you, because you cannot always count on just your solitary discernment, because you may be so blinded by what you think you see in this person that you won't see what's really there. So you have to really have a tribe of honest folks, not a team of yes men and women who cheer you on for everything or how good it looks on Instagram, but somebody who is going to have your back and be intentional, like, and tell you, like, I see some things that you might need to pay attention to. Now, you don't want everybody in your business and in your relationship, but there has to be an inner circle of folks that you can trust to be honest about that and really, have intentional conversations and have them early. If the deeper conversation and higher level understanding of who you are as a person runs you off, good.
Yep. I like that.
Nice. All right, y'all, any questions for the married folks?
So I got one. So let's do one that'll help everybody. Okay. So what do you married people think that, or believe that, the foundation of a healthy and fulfilling relationship is?
Good question.
I would like to go first on this one. I think that we hear communication all the time, but when you really dissect what communication means, it's like true vulnerability. Like, for real, like really being comfortable enough to really say what you're thinking, how you feeling, what's going on with you. I think if we can really learn to have honest, true, authentic conversations, it will improve a lot of relationships. And that's not easy to do. Sometimes we're just not being honest with ourselves. So we just don't see the truth or want to accept the truth. But communication is very important in a relationship, and being vulnerable, really letting them see you all of it. Like, yes. Yes. And that's scary. That's very scary. And sometimes it can take us a long time to get there. But the sooner we can, and like you said, Chrissy, honesty is a big part of that, because that allows us to be vulnerable. And you're right. A lot of the dishonesty is because people don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think being open, accepting, and willing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Foundation of a relationship.
Healthy relationship.
Of a
Healthy relationship.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll go with the old time favorite, which is God.
Mm.
You know? And I know I'm sitting here throwing back shots.
Ain't got nothing to do.
But hey, I know.
By yourself.
But,
By yourself.
Where the bottle girl at? My bottle girl right here. No, that's the foundation always comes back to the Holy Spirit and how you conduct yourself within the word. Because women are a certain thing to us, and what they were created for was created through him. So if we always rely on that Heavenly Father, he should put us in the right perspective of being able to lead that woman, which they want anyway. So yeah, that's me.
Nice.
And doing hard work. I've learned a lot too, doing hard work, really working on yourself, and just to make sure that you're a whole person, that you're healed through some things. So you can be healthy within yourself. And
Absolutely.
then you and your mate, that plays a big part.
Mm-hmm.
Do the self-work and then do it together.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say two things. One is unconditional love, because I'm not gonna say just love, I'm gonna say unconditional love. The reason why is because once you put conditions on it, there's always a reason to break up. Once the condition is there, it's like, as long as you do this, we stay together, and as soon as that's not done, now it's time to break up. So once you start putting conditions on things, then the relationship is already has a weak spot. Like there's a loose link in the chain, which is that condition. So I would say one is unconditional love. The second would be the agreement, right? The agreement between the husband and the wife. Because if they don't agree, and the reason why I say this is because we've interviewed about 20 couples. And not one couple was the same. Not one of them. Some of them were of different, different backgrounds, different belief systems, different nationalities. Races. They met different ways, so it's like, but one thing that I've noticed with each couple is that they've decided to agree on what their marriage looks like. Because a lot of times people will give you the cliche of what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like this, like, this is how it was designed. This is the way it's supposed to look like. So if your marriage if the marriage don't look like this, then it's wrong. It's a wrong marriage, and you shouldn't be in it. Where every couple that we've interviewed, none of their marriages look the same. We asked every couple what has been the glue to help stick them together. There's always a different answer. So like for us, it's been personal development, but that was our agreement. We made an agreement that we're going to use these 3 books as our foundations, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable based upon this information, and it's helped our marriage, to become strong in this foundation, because we hold ourselves, but we made that agreement where somebody else may have come and sat down and said, well, I don't like that agreement. Y'all should use this book, or y'all should use,
had that too.
This way, you should do it this way. And it's like, we tried to do it that way. Like, like
we tried it all.
Yeah, especially like me growing up as a Christian, it was the Bible. I tried to use the Bible. The Bible didn't work for us. It worked. It caused a whole bunch of trouble. I was standing on the word of God, but once we came and we, started looking at different information that could give us a better agreement and understanding of each other. And I would say that would be my third thing, is understanding. If you don't understand,
turn this into a lesson.
I'm sorry. If you don't understand your partner, then you can't communicate well. You could try your best to communicate as much as you can.
That is so true.
Because once you understand your partner, now it's not necessarily you trying to get your point across only. Now it's, I need to understand your point. You understand my point. And now that we understand each other's points, now we can have this better communication, because I'm not trying to get my point across to you. I'm trying to understand your point you're trying to understand. We're trying to figure out how to make all this stuff work together, because guess what? We going to bed together tonight. We waking up together tonight. We raising our kids together tomorrow. We paying our bills together, on the 1st to the 15th of the month, so we're doing all this stuff together. So I would say, those three things: unconditional love, the agreement between the two, and understanding each other.
Okay. Aww.
I know, right? Yeah.
Next question.
He dropped the mic.
General, we on that big mute.
You on
mute, Randall.
Big mute.
This is a singles edition, so I felt like there should be more questions, because we're talking a lot about y'all as couples, and that's like the
well, that's what I want to do. I wanted singles to ask us, because we want to help people succeed in marriage. So we want singles to ask, but we do want to ask you guys some questions as well.
So you ready for another one, huh?
So you ready for another question?
So let me ask.
Always ready.
Is this show for you guys as singles to be able to get information from us to be able to be in a relationship, or y'all just want to be in a relationship, but it's just not happening for y'all right now? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, so the reason why I wanted to bring singles on is because I do want you guys to ask us questions, because the whole thing of keeping up with the Joneses is we want marriages to succeed. We want people to be happy in relationships. Right. Now, if you don't want to be happy in a relationship, that's good. That's cool. We cool with that. Hey, that's your choice. But for people who do want to be happy in a relationship, we got 18 years of experience. I ain't saying that we know everything. We don't know everything, because we got more to learn in the next 18 years. Right. God willing that we do another 18 years.
But that's 2 decades.
Right. That's 2 decades. Right.
That's a grown.
Exactly. That's 36 years. Yeah. Right. It's a grown man. Right. Yeah, we got a grown marriage. Right. Right now, I'm married. She's graduated high school. Right. But so we do have some information. We do have some perspectives that we could share. But also I wanted to ask questions, because I want to know why single people aren't getting in relationships and they aren't getting married. Because
did she mean to not have sound on that?
I don't know. Did you?
No, that wasn't out loud.
Did you whisper? Did you just?
No, it was a whisper. I was with my answers, because it's hard. It's hard. Okay. Because the situations that I've been in, I am willing to do the work. Mm-hmm. And that's the easiest way I can say it. Is right. I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to do the work on me to make me better for you. I'm willing to do the work with us so that we can be better together. Like, I'm willing to do the work, but finding somebody else who's also willing to put in the effort is a little bit difficult. There and that's me being extremely nice.
You know what I also add in your situation, Chrissy? It may be your environment. You may have to get out of your element.
It's called, you got to go out.
So, like, I agree.
And not just outside in the local.
No, we talking about
to get outside the state lines.
Oh
yeah.
And I would also say, because we're big law of attraction people, so I would say, the intention, because you are a workaholic.
Oh,
you do get wrapped up into your work, and so I would probably say sister right here, Nikki, she said she won't even think about it.
If I didn't have the dynamic to myself that I have, in coming into her world, I probably wouldn't be in it.
No, I don't.
So that's why I always tell her that God brought
you had to come in running. you had to be ready.
Our first date.
Shoes ain't got no tread on them no more.
I said I'm gonna see how much he really like me. So I told him I do a food drive on Saturdays, and so we feed about 600 people. Lord, I said I'm gonna see how he really. And then it's the summertime. It's hot outside. There's no air. Cars are pulling up.
She didn't tell me none of this. So I show up and
I say, you want to volunteer? Because he already didn't search your whole life on social media. I say, I'm doing a drive. I say, why don't you come up there and see me? I say, you want to volunteer? Oh yeah, he would do anything just to be here.
It sounded real recreational. So I put on my best button up.
He was looking good.
Some jeans, some new shoes. And by the time we was done, it was fully wet with sweat. My shoes was dirty. My pants was wet. I should have wore different clothes. That's what I'm saying. I was dressed to impress and it just pressed me.
But let me ask you a question as a Virgo. Do you feel like you get more done when you're single versus with someone else?
No. Because the one of the previous relationships that I was in, we were like-minded individuals, right? So the work that we did complemented each other. So it was like I had somebody who could understand what I do and I could bounce ideas off of them, right? And even in a relationship previous to that, where we didn't have anything work-related in common, they were still interested enough in what I was doing for me to be able to have open conversations. And that helped me because I was speaking to my target audience. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I don't work for a reason. Like I left corporate America for a reason. So when they want to do something, I'm available. Like I just got to make sure my kid's straight, right? So I have the time, I have the resources, and I'm willing to put in the work. But I want that honesty though, you know, and that for me, it doesn't hinder me. Like if you do something completely different, if I'm single, if I'm with somebody, it just means I have to allocate my time differently. And as long as they understand that it might take me a second because I need to learn your schedule so I know where I fit in, because my schedule is the most flexible between ours, right? So because of that, give me a second. Let me figure out how I can fit into your schedule because you might work a 9 to 5, right? You might have kids that you have to go see on the weekends and things like that. So let me figure out how to put all of that in so that we can spend time together. So as a Virgo, I'm a workaholic, but even then I can put I time block. That's what my schedule looks like. It's time blocking. I can block out time in days, weekends, where it's just us. So I don't see that as a hindrance at all.
Oh, that's a benefit.
Okay.
I asked Mr. The General, what type of woman are you looking for?
I was actually thinking about that question.
Oh, can we turn the volume up?
He got the mute on. He got to come in hot on this one.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. Yes.
Yeah.
So it is very important that I have someone that is intentional. It's a reoccurring theme in y'all's relationships and what Chrissy is talking about, is having the intention to be in a relationship, being available and open to that possibility. Because, people go in and that's not really what they're trying to do. If you just want to hang out, then say that. So we know exactly what we're doing. Because if you want to hang out and I'm not trying to hang out, I can just go ahead and exit. Don't hold on to me because this is not what we're doing. So, I have come across a lot of women who make themselves busy, fill their lives up with all kind of things. And then there's no room for that opportunity. So having the intention, like Chrissy can fill her schedule up, but at the same time, for that opportunity, she can clear that schedule up. And there are a lot of people who just want you to fit in wherever. So having that intention is important. I am very big at this stage of my life on communication. It is a huge thing for me, and not just talking, but effective communication. Having the vocabulary and the intelligence to express your thoughts in a way that not just you understand it, but I understand it, and vice versa. So that takes us into emotional intelligence. You have to be in control of yourself.
That's my time.
Have your thoughts together. Everyone has a past. I'm gonna need you to have all of that kind of pulled together. Like it's something I had to do. Like spend some time. Like do that self-development. Work on yourself. Because we are at this point looking at a merger. And why would I want to acquire a company that is going to plummet immediately?
Yo, sorry, toast up. We're gonna toast on that. We're gonna take a shot to that. We're gonna toast on that.
You got some of your
I got a little bit.
What you do? Sip a little bit?
I know next time I was gonna get no more.
I'll pay you up right now.
I have a question.
Well done, General. Well done.
Since both of you guys are big on being intentional and are wanting to date, is the goal dating to be married?
Oh yes, like because of how I was raised. Yes, I don't believe in long-term situationships. I am stingy, like with mine. When we together, we together. I accept you, your kids, and your family, but not no exes on the side. Like I'm not extra. I'm not an appetizer. No, like yes, the goal is to be in a happy, loving, long-term, monogamous relationship with somebody to spend the rest of my life with, not to spend a couple weeks with.
Period.
Very much the same. I'm real big on time and titles, right? Because I don't have time to waste. So we gonna know whether or not we going somewhere in a short amount of time. You know, first year we figured each other out. By year number 2, we should know what's going on, and we are going to have the conversation. So I know exactly what we're doing. There's going to be a timetable, and there are going to be titles. I'm not doing the vague. You know, we just seeing what's going on. Look, you can see what's going on somewhere else. That ain't what we do.
Okay.
So being, intentional once again and having those conversations, because people like go with the flow and I really like this person and, all of that surface level stuff is like, let me find out who you really are. Tell me about your childhood. How did you grow up? What do you do now? Talk about the finances. Do you go to the doctor? Do you go to the dentist? What are your habits? Like, let's really get into it early because I don't have time to waste. Like, if everyone approached their relationships the same way they did their job, I believe things would go a lot further. If you spoke to the person that you're across from the way that you did with the same reverence, your boss, because you won't get fired. Or if you're trying to get the job, like, like he said, he came out dressed up and he could have just been like, oh yeah, I ain't doing that and left. But he was like, nope, that is one of the things I'm looking for. Like, give me that effort. Show me that you are here on purpose.
He got the
and
job.
People are too cool for that.
he got the job.
Yeah, he did, but he put the work in. It's we live in the day and age of social media, so people are so caught up in the aesthetic, what it looks like, and the relationship may look good. You pick this person because they look good in pictures, but are they good for you? And getting beyond that, because it's something that I've had to deal with. It's like, yeah, this person looks good in all my pictures, but is she really good for me? And when I look back, a lot of them, it's like, yeah, I know why I was in that relationship, and it wasn't for any good reasons. It was like, I like the way it looked. And once you get beyond that, to Ms. Jones's point is, all right, we're gonna be in this for a minute. All of this is gonna change. Like, do I still want to be with you later on?
Yep. Everything is so instant online. Everybody's used to everything. People on social media has messed up the world. Everybody's used to instant gratification and seeing the results without seeing the work.
Right.
Yes, she looked pretty in them pictures, but how long did she sit and do her makeup? He looked fine, but he went to the barber shop. He had to get them clothes pressed. Like, his preparation took steps and time and effort, right? And it's everybody's looking at the end results of relationships. They looking at the happy pictures online, but they not understanding some of them happy pictures, they was arguing in the car, right? And it's like social media has kind of
right and
sped things up.
And that's the reason why I want to start doing Q&As. It's because, if me and my wife is having a disagreement, because we don't necessarily really have arguments, and this is an honest thing, we really don't have a lot of arguments anymore, but we do have disagreements. But if we're having a disagreement, we ain't about to take time. We're like, all right, having a disagreement, let's go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and capture this moment that is disagreement, right? Like, we're not thinking about capturing the moment of the disagreement. But after we don't worked everything out, We done used our tools, we done used our 4 agreements, we done used our men are from Mars, women are from Venus, we done used our 5 love languages, and we done did the work, and we done got through the disagreement, we done came to our, our grounds of communication, and now we going out for the night. We happy because we got through our disagreement, and we going out for the night, and now we taking pictures, at the club or at the restaurant, and we happy, and people see that, but they don't understand what we had to do before we got out, saying to the restaurant or to the club or to whoever house we was going to. Like they don't know. So that's why we want to do Q&As, because like I said, we could give you general information that you could go and read and look at and take tests on and quizzes. Then it's like, okay, let's just say such and such happened and this happened. How did y'all get through that? Right. Like, how did you use this information? How did you actually use this information to get through what you got through? And how have you done it for 18 years?
We have a lot of examples of that, because I'm gonna tell you something. In the beginning of our marriage, oh my goodness, oh my God. The arguments, the yelling, the screaming, we were never violent towards each other. So please don't think that. But you got 2 fire signs here. I'm mad, he yelling, I'm yelling. I wasn't
violent towards her. I was just violent towards the furniture.
Yeah, he would flip stuff or throw something. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I remember the first time I would
never hurt a human being. I would never hurt a human being, but if you a piece of wood, you got it coming. You got it coming.
Calm, laid back Bashari. Yes, he would throw something, flip something, holla.
If you a couch, you might have it coming.
We did not have good communication. We was not understanding each other. We was just trying to be understood.
But how long did that last? How many years did y'all go through that?
We actually went through that for probably a good
a lot of years.
Probably a good 10 years.
For real, seriously, 10 years.
And that's why I said that unconditional love is a foundation to a healthy relationship. In that agreement, because even though we were going through what we were going through, we still loved each other unconditionally.
That's what kept us together. And that's the honesty, the trust, and the unconditional love.
And reading the personal development and holding ourselves accountable to what we were learning, is something that helped us out. So it's like after 10 years, and it's literally like one of the scriptures I always fall back on in the Bible is, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And I'm just going to say our marriage perished because of lack of knowledge. The more that we learn, like for instance, the reason why we talk about men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
That book right there, you guys.
It's because
that was a missing piece for us.
It was a missing piece. Why? Because in all of my, I'm a student of the Bible. Like when it comes to Bible, Genesis to Revelation, I'm all in. I'm gonna go in. But I can't go from Genesis to Revelation and say where it broke down the difference between the masculine and the feminine energy. We actually really broke it down and said, hey, this is the masculine and feminine energy. This is the masculine energy. This is how it works.
It's different.
This is the feminine energy, and this is how it works.
It's different.
And if the masculine can accept the feminine and the feminine can accept the masculine, then you guys could live together in the same planet, right? That's why it says men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Like we're from different planets. But if you guys can understand each other, you can live on the same planet. And for us, it was like, because I didn't know feminine energy.
No, he did not.
I didn't know how to recognize it. I didn't know how to speak to it.
No, he didn't.
So at that point, I'm like, I don't understand what you don't understand.
I felt he was rough with me. I felt he was just rough, like logical and just. Why you crying?
And for me, it's like I just felt like she just didn't care about understanding. It was just like, so because rough. She was in her feminine energy. She wanted a hug. And it got to a point where it got to a point where my son was out the house. So it was me, my wife, and my 2 daughters in the house. So it's me masculine, the rest is feminine. So I had to ask the question. I said, well, when you guys come to me with something, do you actually want to answer? Or do you just want a hug? After when men are from Mars, women are from Venus, he actually tells you the answer in the book. Like they just want a hug. They don't want the answer. They just want a hug. So but because I didn't know that, I'm always trying to figure out the problem. Like, okay, you come to me with this, let's go ahead and figure it out. Let's get this problem out of the door. And they like, just give me a hug right now,
Like, I'm so alone.
That's the key though. That's the key right there, is that y'all had the unconditional love to keep y'all together, but that's not what kept y'all together. What kept y'all together is the fact that you were willing to put in the effort to learn. Like, I'm not being understood, but I'm speaking clear English. Why don't you understand me? Right? And you like, but I'm saying the thing to answer the question, but you don't understand. So let's figure out where the disconnect is in our communication so that we communicate at a better level. Yes. And putting in that work is why y'all been together for 18 years.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I would say the unconditional love is what kept us around and put in the work.
Yeah.
Because 10 years, you hear that 10 years.
Right, because once you put those conditions on, and this is what happens with most marriage, you put the condition on, then you find out that there's work to do. And that work is based upon that condition. And it's like, oh, you ain't got this together? Oh, well, call me back when you get this together. And then a lot of times what happens is they'll split up. The man go get that together, but then he ends up with a different woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that, and one thing that,
or even vice versa.
And one thing that my wife, she communicated to me. She was like, well, I don't want to miss out on the best version of you.
Absolutely. I put too much time in. Sure.
And vice versa. I don't want to miss out on the best version of her, right? So the thing is that, once we had those perspectives, in sight, it was like, okay, now we're willing to go through the work, and I'm willing to be patient with my wife for her to become the best version of herself. She's willing to be patient with me.
Absolutely.
For me to become the best version of myself. And we're constantly now putting in that work. And it was that unconditional love to where we took the conditions off and said, you know what?
Absolutely.
You don't got to meet this list no more. I had this list.
We don't have a list.
We don't have a list anymore. It's like, you don't got to meet this list no more because, my list may be a limitation for me because you may supersede my list.
Say it back.
But I'm giving you this list, like you got to meet these requirements and you may supersede this list. So you know what? I got this list. These are some great things that I would like, but you know what? Let me go to put this list to the side. What's your list for you to be to me? And I think sometimes that's what marriages miss is that, okay, instead of me creating my list of what I need you to be for me, what is your list of what you want to be for me? Because your list of what you want to be for me may supersede my list that I have for myself. And I'm just going to say this and I'm going to shut up. One of my mentors, when I was doing business, when I'm doing business, as I'm pursuing business, I don't like working jobs. I like pursuing business. And when I was talking to my mentor about how everybody, felt I should have a job. And then when my mentor, he said, what it is that people want you to do the impossible and they want you to raise to a lower standard. Your standard for yourself as an entrepreneur. That's the highest standard of economics, is to be an entrepreneur, is to be independently, financially independent. But they want you to lower your standard to become independent, to become more dependent on another company or on a job, which is actually a lower standard. But for them in their mind, it's a rising standard for them, because that's the way that they think, So I attribute that to marriage, to where I may have a standard, but her standard may be higher than what I put for myself. So let me put my standard to the side and let me see what her standard is as a wife for me. And let's go ahead and talk about that.
Period.
I really feel like you should just knock the mic over.
Mic drop.
So being, single, I thought this conversation was extremely important because, we see a lot of conversations surrounding keeping marriages together. And I don't think a lot of that information comes out to singles or is put into a format where they can understand it. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to participate. One of the things you talked about was your your books and understanding each other. And that is very, very important. Like, we talking about hunter and prey. Is the prey bad, or are you just a bad hunter?
Wow.
Like, do you understand what you're hunting? And if the reason you're not getting it is because you don't understand the prey, if I am out there with a fishing rod and a hook and I am hunting deer, how well do you think that's going to go? So understanding that other side and understanding how they are goes a long way. And, I spent a considerable amount of time in these books trying to understand, because it doesn't make sense. Like, they operate totally different. And we have a tendency to think that people think like us. And that is not the case. And if you go through life thinking that way, it is going to be bad. The other thing that I'm pulling from this is, once you get to that level, you have to consider it as a situation with no exit. So if leaving is not an option, then what are we doing?
Yep.
What are we doing to fix this? Because getting out ain't an option.
Yep.
Right.
And I think everyone thinks of relationships as disposable, because that's how things are. Just like we swipe, and we just throw that away.
Yes, that's a Virgo thing, though.
Listen, Beyonce messed it all up when she talking about something you must not know about me. Like, she done messed everything up. Like, I can have another. I think she a Virgo too. Ain't she?
Yeah, she a Virgo. Yes.
We're married now.
They should have a track shoe called Virgo.
Listen, I put in this effort and I'm gonna see some results. And we're gonna keep working till I get some results. But the other person has to be willing to meet me at least halfway. Because I don't want to fight for us if I'm the only person that keep getting knocked down.
Sound like a runner, though. Sound like
So,
a runner.
Oh no.
Like a fighter.
So if I was to just say what I know about Miss Chrissy Pips, and I'm not comparing the two, but I would say this is something I also found similar in Ms. Nikki over here, is that I think because of the trust thing, it may take a little bit more time for you guys to open up, right? And I think that I don't think Chrissy is a runner. No, she may take her time in opening up, but once you do have her trust or her commitment, I can definitely say she's extremely loyal. Extremely loyal. So I can understand why it may take her some time to get to that place, because once she's there, it's like she's locked in. Yeah,
Right. Like arms, legs wrapped around you. Ain't going nowhere.
Would you say that's you, Nikki?
I can say that's me. But I guess in relationships. So this is the reason why.
Look at him. He's so silly.
And I was sharing this with my best friend the other day, because I've been married before. And I was married for a very long time, probably close to 20 years, right? And so a long time in my first relationship, and it was like I was the fighter the whole time. I was the fighter. And my ex-husband was an Aquarius. So you know anything, I study signs. So totally different from the East Coast, very antisocial, corporate America king. So I was always the person that kept it together, the fighter. He was more of the runner. But at some point we just figured this thing out, right? Until I just was like, I'm done. So I think for me, once I went through that, and I was with myself for a period of time, I just got to the point, I was just like, I'm not putting up with nobody BS. Like, as soon as you show me something different, so my whole thing was not to feel like people was disposable, but I think I got to the point in my life where everything was really short-lived. Like, if I start seeing something I didn't like, because before, when I first got in, to be honest, my first marriage, I stayed in for a lot of the wrong reasons. And I fought because for everybody else and not for Nikki. And so then it was like, okay, now I got by myself and I was like, I went through my whole healing journey. I just kind of wanted to be by myself. And it just made me look at things different. Like, I don't want to waste time. If I feel like I don't have 10 more years, I don't have 20 more years to keep saying, just be patient, and my patience had really, so by the time I got with Robin, I was like, let me tell you something, dude.
When I tell you he was running.
So it's kind of flipped. Robin is more the fighter in our marriage, to be honest with you. Because I'm like, yeah, I ain't gonna do all this, And he's just like, you gotta have patience, you gotta slow down. And so that's something that I'm learning too, as I'm doing self-work and hard work. That's something that I'm learning because it was totally different for me. So
Oh my gosh, I'm such a fan, you guys. They're just
So here's a question. So I'm assuming you have single friends.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna do you have single friends at all?
I have a lot of single friends.
Okay.
I do.
And I guess my question would be like, how much of this conversation that like we're having today do you have with your single friends to help them be more equipped for the possibility of a relationship? Because there are a lot of people who just don't have really good ideas of how this works, and the insight that I think that you have is invaluable, but I don't find a lot of couples who really indulge in very honest conversations like that. Is that something that you guys do?
I think I probably do it more. I wouldn't say friend. I don't use the friend word kind of loosely though. But so for me, I have a lot of clients. So people that come. So I'm really big on social media. So when it came to me and Robin being together, people just see this whole happy life, So a lot of people, single people, even my clients, people maybe that I counsel, they was just like, oh my God, I just want you and Robin's relationship. And I just want this. And I was like, no, you don't. I said, right. So, but, and really being transparent, with people, because I think we are both open and transparent with people when they ask, because a lot of people it's like, where did you meet your husband at? And, and they want that, because before people knew me from going through, being married and going through a very horrible divorce. And there's some things that I endured between that time. And now to really, him too, to come back out on top, it was just like, okay, how you hit rock bottom, and like, dang, she really came out of hitting rock bottom. And it happened to me twice. So now it's like, oh, you just got this knight in shining armor and y'all never argue. I'm like, we do. We have real live arguments. Like, I got that mouth. I'm a Virgo. And so
I was thinking about some things.
The first time when we honestly got into it, he said, call me by my full name. He said, I cannot believe you're talking to me like this. And so people don't see that part. They only see the happy part. So that's something that I told him. I was like, the very first year of us really getting together, we went through a whole lot in that first year, because he was coming out of a marriage. I was coming out of a situation because I had been divorced for 3 years. And so it was one of those things, okay. And I told him, even we went on our first date, and I told him, I said, any woman that dates you is crazy as hell. And I must have been the crazy as hell woman, right? But I was just trying to get him to understand he did have a lot of baggage, and a lot of women would, deal with that. But, and I felt like I was a woman. I was like, I'm not putting up with this. I was like, if you looking for a therapist, I'm going to give you my mama number, because she can take it. She's taking new clients. I'm not taking no more clients. But I had to say, I was like, he will be an amazing person for someone once he's healed and once he's ready. But I took that journey with him. I did. I took that journey with him.
That's the unconditional. And that's the courage part that Chrissy is talking about.
And so that's one thing that I do share with people, like, really get to know the person. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, and it has to mesh. Like, it's not hard. It's hard. It's hard dating me, okay? So, but that's one thing that I have been very transparent when it came to people that we know, clients, even my siblings. You know, I have siblings, they're all are not married. It's 14 of us, they're all are not married. And that's one thing that they love. Terry's not married, Ashley's not married, Melinda's not married.
14 is a lot of people to remember.
Right. Janice is
Most
married.
of them married.
Deborah's not married.
You right.
Yeah, all of them are married. You know, so and it takes a lot. It's not just looking cute on pictures and you know going out. You know, it's those times of being vulnerable. It's the times, you know, hey, you may not like some things, you know, that this person do, and can I really deal with it? You know, and that's one thing.
9 times out of 10, a marriage disagreement, I'll call them, will be over space. It will be about individuality. It'll be about something that you imposed on my individuality that I did not like. And you're supposed to be one. So that could be
the question I have for y'all.
Okay.
That's the question. So what advice?
Think about that.
Right. Like what do you do to maintain a sense of individuality while being part of a committed partnership?
Oh, I would like to answer that, because Chrissy, that's a wonderful question. And I think that for 10 years of marriage, that was what I struggled with. And I think it's not just me. I've heard a lot of women who get married have a hard time with their identity. And it's because we give so much to our children, to our spouses, to our family. And for me, what it came down to was finding my spiritual routine, however that looked. And that's what I had to figure out. For me, it was starting first to seriously take a long time with myself and ponder simple questions like, as silly as this may sound, I literally had to do this. What is my favorite kind of food? What do I like to do? What is my favorite color? Like, I literally had to sit down and ask myself what seemed like simple questions. And I had to write it down. I had to relearn myself or rediscover myself, because the person I was when I first got married, I'm not that person today. I'm not her. And at some point we evolve to a point where we're unrecognizable to our own selves. So to simplify or to sum this question up, really spending time with yourself, making time for you, journaling, meditating, exercising, painting, drawing, then whatever it is that you enjoy to do just for you, really making time for that.
I think for me, I'm a writer, so I like to write. I like to write. I'm a night owl, so I love to be up really late, and probably best when Robin's sleep, because I like to be up. But the late night is when I really kind of tap into like meditating. I love listening to the word late at night. I'll catch up on like sermons for past weeks. I love listening to motivational people. So that's kind of what I do on my individual time. And because we are always together, you know, sometimes, you know, I'm not a big rap person, so I'm not really into that
be careful.
secular music, right? And so so some days I love music, and then sometimes I just like riding with nothing on. So some days I may, even though we go to work together, our office is in the same building.
24/7. We're together 24/7.
Right. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive my car today, you know, because normally we're riding together. So I'll drive my car today. And then he can listen to his loud rap music. So yeah.
I want to hear from the general. We ain't heard from him.
Yes, the general.
Randall.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what do you say about these topics? What do you have? I know you have something to interject on.
I'm honestly just taking notes here.
wow.
I take everything as a learning opportunity. So I will share my notes if you'd like to hear that. I don't want to leave you hanging, but if you have a question, I'll answer that. But if not,
what is an interesting perspective from the last couple of topics or questions that we had that you could use that could be helpful in your journey?
So the last one first. Creating space for individuality. Like I definitely believe you should have some common interests, but there has to be space for you to still be you.
Yes.
And that may not involve me. So if skating is it or whatever it is that you love, as long as it is not a harm to our collective effort, do that, be that, enjoy it.
Right.
The next thing I took away was to negotiate the terms of your relationship. So the social media world and other folks are pushing a narrative of, this old school value, or you got to be this, or, you got to, the man got to do this, the woman got to do that. And it's like, once you get away from that, it's like, you and I, this is our relationship. Let us negotiate the terms of that and who does what.
Absolutely.
Because when you move all that away,
no judgment.
it declutters it.
No expectations.
It's like, yep. And that brings me to my next thing is to have realistic expectations. So let's come out of fantasy land.
Yep.
Let's step away from that. Let's step away from the Instagram. Let's step away from the Facebook. Let's step away from all of that and talk about reality and be realistic. Like, let's be real about the person that you want. Understand that who you are able to attract, and understand in real life if you are the person for the person you think you want.
Oh,
expectations can be a whole nother show.
Oh yeah.
It could.
Oh yeah. It's been a big thing. Everything's trending about this whole 50-50 deal. That's what's been trending about, the people 50-50 on the bills and
the bills.
The whole 50-50 on the bills things. I look at it, I watch it and I think it's funny because, like I say, it's just another narrative that's being pushed to say it has to be this way or it has to be that way. And the thing, but the reality of the situation is every marriage is different. Some marriages is going to be 50-50. Some marriages going to be the husband pay all the bills. Some marriages, the wife may pay all the bills. Some marriages, they may be homeless in the streets and they ain't got no bills.
You got to figure out what works for you. So
I blame it on Marvin Gaye.
I want to say in some relationships experience all of that. Homelessness, where she paying, he paying. They splitting it. That's probably been our relationship.
We've seen it all, we've seen it all. It's just, like I say, there's so many, so many dogmas that's been placed on us, and they say you got to follow this, this platform, this roadmap to what your relationship and what marriage has to look like, and at the end of the day, it's going to look like however those two choose to make it look like. And
to be the happiest in their relationship.
And the rest of the world,
being
you
honest
okay
with each other, what you really want, what you don't like, and being willing to compromise because everything can't always just be your way. Being willing to compromise and then setting your own standards of how your relationship is going to look and being truthful and honest with one another. Again, communication, being vulnerable. If they hurt your feelings, tell them they hurt your feelings, or whatever the case may be. But yeah.
I got a question to the single people.
Yes.
How high on your acceptance chart is looks to a person?
Let's be real. Keep it real.
How high?
Keep it real.
So
you ain't single no more.
So I am attracted to people mentally before I'm attracted to them physically. If you can stimulate me mentally, then I'm interested. You see what I'm saying? Like, I need to know that we can have a conversation. I need to know that there's something about you that intrigues me to want to know more. And then it kind of goes from there. Yes, you cannot be a ragamuffin. However, right. However, I'm attracted to people I feel like can teach me things. Like I like learning new things. It's a thing for me right now. Like learning new stuff is a thing. Like I'm interested in learning new things, and that's learning new people, new mannerisms, learning, right? So I'm attracted to people mentally before physically. You can't be a ragamuffin. And I do take care of myself, so I expect for you to do the same thing.
Right.
But yeah, it's a mental thing for me first.
Okay.
All right.
So we know that men are visual creatures, right?
Yes, we are.
Yep, we know.
And one of the greatest lies ever perpetuated was that nobody buys a book for the cover. That is a lie. I'll say we'll spend money on cover art.
That's a lie.
So the cover is nice. So I'm gonna pick up the book, but what's inside of that book is gonna make me keep it.
And
So
see, that's the opposite. I want to see the inside first. Like,
well, honestly, in real life, that's not even possible. You see them. Like you're seeing people.
She online.
So there's
the people that I meet are the one of the last relationships I had. It was a mental thing first.
How did you meet them?
Online.
It was online. Is that what I said?
You know, so
online.
Like
online.
Yeah, I'm not just debunking that at all, because I mean we're sitting next to an 18-year marriage that started with a phone call. So I'm not saying that that's not a thing. But you know, physicality does play a role, because you know you want to have a physical connection and attraction to the person you're with. You know, at this stage, say it again.
No, I was gonna go ahead and finish.
I was gonna say at this stage, being 40 plus, the expectations have to change. You know, at this age, we start, there's a little fluff. I'm not saying you got to be, this thing, but fight back.
And that's why I said though, like it's mental first. It's mental first. That's that look. It's not that. It ain't that far away from first.
Yeah. It's there.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, even when I met Kiana over the phone, of course the thought is, what does she look like, and then and we knew mutual people before we ever saw each other, So one of the people that we knew mutually was a friend of mine. She was like, not even ask, she just said, "Oh, she pretty. You're gonna love her. She pretty." And then she said she was like, "Oh, y'all gonna have sex." I was like,
wow. Now we know how that phone conversation got so good. It was like, let me lock this down.
I mean, I didn't, so I didn't know, and I didn't know, so but yeah, I thought about it, and then, when we met, we talked about how we met, I definitely want to look at my best. I was looking at my worst.
He wasn't my type.
I was looking at my worst on purpose. And
he was chocolate. I like chocolate.
But when I saw her, she wasn't, looking up, but I was like, she
I was looking good. I don't know what he talking about.
But then we went on our first blind date. And then, she was all the way done. I'm like, oh yeah,
Who said all the way done?
She was all the way done. I'm like, oh yeah.
When he met me, my hair was it was freshly permed. It was crispy, slick back, no makeup. But when we went out, I had some curls. I had a little makeup on. That's what he's talking about.
And she won't give me the credit. So I'm gonna go ahead and toot my own horn. So when I first came over, I had on, my baggy. We talked about this earlier. I had on the oversized, the 3XL t-shirt, the 2XL jogging pants. And I wasn't nearly the size. Yeah. I was half the size.
I was drowning in
had the do-rag on. I came from work, smelling like food.
It was not fresh.
But
I wasn't either.
But the second time I came over, I went to a cabaret, because I went to a lot of cabaret. So I had on the pelly shirt,
looking crispy.
Had the fresh cut.
He
had
was
the fresh
looking nice
with the cologne on, and she opened the door and she was like, turned around and went upstairs.
And here we go. How many children later?
I remember exactly what he had on that night too.
I bet
yeah.
Nice.
our story definitely is not the typical story at all. Yeah,
but even
but that's the thing. It's no such thing.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
never typical.
Yep. But truly is Bashari's heart. Bashari's heart is, in my opinion, is rare. You know, by the time I met Bashari, I had some situations that had me vulnerable, and I wasn't in the most open and trusting space at that time. And I really believe that, I always say God is funny. I don't think I would have received Bashari had he brought him in my life any other way. Not at that time of my life. You know, I feel like he snuck him in, you know, through the back door. You know, he kind of came out of nowhere. And, you know, he definitely wouldn't have been somebody I would have immediately been attracted to. But getting to know Bashari was he had this very comforting way about him. It was very just comfortable. Like, you feel safe. You feel like this is a good space to be in, you know. And I think anybody who knows Bashari can understand what I'm talking about. You know, he's just genuine. He's just authentic. Like, what you see is really what you get, you know. He got a rough side. It's softened a whole lot in 18 years, but he had a little rough side. But, you know, he's genuinely just a really good person. And I always say, one of the things I value most about our relationship is that Bashari has always been honest with me. And that was a very difficult thing. I understand where you're coming from, Chrissy, because I've had, you know, some relationships where it's just, I just didn't understand why you have to just be so dishonest. You know, it's like, why are you playing games with me? You know, and that's one thing I never had to question with Bashari. He was always honest. Still to this day, I can honestly tell you, Bashari has never told me a lie, and probably has never told any one of you guys a lie. That's genuinely who he is. So I'm telling you, I didn't find Bashari. God brought him to me. That's all I got. He called me. I was minding my own business, not thinking about Bashari. But yes, he brought Bashari to me.
Absolutely. Well, it's 6:45. I know.
Dang, let me start.
5 o'clock.
A little after 5. It's been going. It's been going. Yeah, it's been going. So I do know that
I have to do a part 2.
Yeah, we're gonna do a part 2 of Q&A, and because
are we the first couple for the couples? This type
of podcast. Yes. This is the first time we ever did this.
First time we ever did this.
Yeah.
The fireworks.
It's keeping up with the Joneses.
That's what I'm
keeping up with the Joneses.
So we just hope by the time part 2 come around, y'all both have found someone.
Yes.
That would be
that would be great. Yes.
And we can ask them questions.
So how far? I got a question. Like, how far out y'all think this part 2 gonna be?
Like, I was thinking
Are they in the same city?
I was thinking next weekend. Like, y'all like, and in a year we'll do part 2.
Yeah.
And let me just go ahead and say this real quick. Mr. Jones, and I'm not talking to Bashari. I listen, don't do it.
You heard him.
Don't do it.
I heard him. I just brushed over it.
What did I
Don't do
right. What that elusive little road you was going down.
Don't
do
it.
See?
I don't know what you are talking about.
Amber alert. Look, Amber alert.
There's an Amber alert in Texas.
Right. But no, like I was thinking
that you guys already know each other personality to know, yes, I wouldn't try to make a matchmaking situation. That wasn't.
Then how would you know that's what we were talking about?
Exactly. Is that what you were talking about?
General, you are smart. I'm telling you.
Let your own cat out the bag.
He couldn't even get him in the bag. That cat just running around.
Just kept seeing the tail out the bag like this.
I got my cat in the bag right here.
Are children allowed to watch this show? Well, if I had pearls, I'd clutch them.
Clutch my pearls.
Clutch my pearls. This was fun.
All right, fam. So we're gonna go ahead and get on up out of here. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube or Facebook or whatever platform that you're watching this on, remember to like, remember to subscribe, follow us, KUWJ Live on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, just at KUWJ Live everywhere, and you'll find us. And also, just real briefly, Chrissy, tell everybody where they can find you at.
I am Chrissy Pips on all social media platforms. No underscores, dots, or dashes. This Chrissy Pips.
Absolutely. And Randall, where can they find you at?
Hey, I'm simple. Randall the General on every platform. You can find me.
All right.
There you go. See that, Brandon? See that, Brandon?
And the Joneses.
And the Joneses.
Oh Lord. You go ahead and list them all. I ain't doing right now.
I guess you can find me on social media under I'm under Dr. Nikki J or Dr. Nikki Jones, Instagram,
justjars.com.
Justjars.com. We do have a TikTok. I have a couple TikToks. So the one that I'm getting ready to launch is called Raising Thorn Rain. So it's kind of gonna give a journey of us raising our daughter. And just kind of give a little background of, where she's from and how we got into this whole.
Because
she's adopted, and her nationality, she's Japanese. So we're getting ready to do our own TikTok together as a family. So it's called Raising Thorn Rain. Instagram, social media, that's where we at.
Yeah.
All right, family. So peace out, family. We're going to see you guys on the next go round.
And thank you guys so much for sharing and being here with us. Thank all of you guys. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Peace out.
Aw, so when we doing part 2? I still had questions. I had 10 questions.
Yeah, we still live on Facebook.
Still live for the people.
We
can't remember.
Just like the after show.
Show me if y'all got time. I don't mind. If they don't mind, I don't mind. But I do know we ready to eat and chow down on this food because y'all don't.
may want to go
warm it up.
You warm it up because y'all don't know that.
Sponsored by Revolution Tequila and then White Hennessy, pure White Hennessy.
Go ahead and speak that into existence.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, me and Chrissy over here been turning up water.
I'm about to go. I know I got a call. I have to hop on at 8 though.
Yeah. That's all. I knew you had a call that you got to get.
Like it's all of these people.
Oh
wow!
Crypto crash course.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for my community, I do Q&As 2 Sundays out the month for people who are going through the course, just to kind of get their questions answered and stuff like that. So, and then I have to cook again because. Yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Y'all want to do it next weekend?
So we'll let you guys know. We got to see because we may have another couple to interview next weekend. But we're gonna get some more single people. The goal was to get 4 single people. It was
last minute.
Last minute. Yeah.
And of all the people, y'all chose me. I don't know why.
We chose perfectly. Y'all were all perfect for this first episode.
You don't want the single people that's out there with bunny ear pockets. They ain't doing nothing. Talking about they slip somebody a molly.
We're gonna get Andre on the next one.
Yeah, we're gonna get Andre Campbell on.
I would really like his perspective of why he's still single.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He probably needs a woman's touch in his apartment because everything's just all white. He has one.
He could be a minimalist. He's a minimalist.
Not the money he makes. He's not a minimalist.
Oh my God.
Trust me. I love being a minimalist.
I think I might need to come off of Facebook Live now. You about to put Andre out there like.
Dude, that's my boy. I was just playing. He's probably got a whole Maserati in next.
Let's say don't talk about his money.
Right.
He's gonna have his Facebook flooded like.
He ain't single. 20 minutes. Right.
Somebody put his name in the search right now.
All right, y'all, have fun. I'm about to go hop on this other one. Just keep me posted.
All right,
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right, see y'all.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
We'll go ahead and stop recording on Facebook. I'm gonna stop the live stream. Unless you want to stay live, Randall. You trying to stay live?
That's unnecessary. I think they've had enough of me today.
All right, we're going to stop the live stream. I know the game about to come on and everything.
Oh, yeah.